Alright folks, buckle up because we're about to tear into one of the biggest political back and forths in recent memory. Anthony Albanese reckons he's the hero who's going to save Australia's Pharmaceutical Benefits Scheme, PBS, from US tariffs, but the coalition is calling absolute rubbish on that claim. Liberal MP Zoe McKenzie says the protections for the PBS were already locked in long before Labor got anywhere near the driver's seat. So, is Albo spinning a fairy tale? Or is the coalition just desperate for credit? Before we rip into this mess, do us a favor, smash that like button, subscribe if you're new, and tell us what you reckon in the comments below. And hey, if you're over the political circus, grab our Albo Says Relax t-shirt, only $23 for the next 48 hours. Links in the description. Alright, let's get stuck in. Federal politics has been an absolute battleground this week, and things got even spicier when Prime Minister Anthony Albanese stepped up to declare that his government would never allow the PBS to be compromised by US trade negotiations. His words? We'll stand our ground. This is not for sale. This is not up for negotiation. But hold on to your hats, because the coalition isn't having a bar of it. Liberal MP Zoe McKenzie was quick to fire back, saying it was laughable that Albo was taking credit for something the coalition had already sorted years ago. And honestly, she's not mincing her words. Here's what she had to say. Let's be clear. The US Free Trade Agreement was negotiated by the coalition, and the protections for the PBS were put in place by us. Labor can claim whatever they want, but the reality is, we fought tooth and nail to make sure the PBS was untouchable in trade deals. She even went as far as to say that when the coalition was in power, they spent months in the trenches negotiating major trade deals, including the Trans-Pacific Partnership. Meanwhile, she reckons Labor can't even get a phone call through to the US president. Ouch. Now, this whole PBS drama has kicked off a bigger conversation about who's actually got the best track record when it comes to Australia's health system. Assistant Minister for Women Kate Thwaites stepped into the ring, saying Labor has always been the party of Medicare and cheaper medicines. According to her, under Labor's new plan, Aussies won't be paying more than $25 per script at the chemist, saving the country over $200 million a year. But McKenzie was quick to shoot back, claiming that bulk billing has actually taken a nosedive under Labor. She says that under the coalition, the national bulk billing rate sat at 88%. Now, it's dropped to 77%. That's hundreds of thousands of Aussies losing access to bulk billing at their local GP. And she didn't stop there. She even accused the Albanese government of gutting funding for crucial healthcare projects in her own electorate, like the Frankston Hospital and the National Centre for Healthy Aging. So who's telling the truth here? Labor says they are putting more money into healthcare. The Liberals say Labor's cutting it left, right, and centre. Somebody's pulling our leg, and it's up to Aussies to figure out who. Now, if you thought things were fiery already, just wait until we talk about next week's federal budget. McKenzie slammed the Albanese government for what she calls reckless spending, predicting that the upcoming budget will see Australia sink even deeper into debt, to the tune of $1 trillion. Australians are paying more tax than ever before, she said. This government promised tax relief, but instead, they are digging even deeper into our pockets. She also took management. All they've done is ramp up debt while throwing money around like confetti. Labor, of course, paints a very different picture. Thwaites defended the government's economic approach, saying they've been tackling inflation, bringing in cost of living relief, and delivering tax cuts to Australian workers. When we came into government, inflation had a 6 in front of it. Now it's down to a 2, she said. We've worked hard to support Australians through this economic storm, and we'll keep doing it in a responsible way. But let's be real, talk is cheap, and Australians want results. The question is, will this budget actually put money back into people's pockets, or is it just more political spin? Just when you thought this debate couldn't get any more cooked, the coalition is throwing a nuclear-sized curveball into the mix. Labor's been hammering the Liberals over their proposal for a $600 billion nuclear energy plan, arguing that it'll send power bills through the roof. According to Thwaites, Peter Dutton and his crew are pushing a wildly expensive energy policy while simultaneously blocking every single cost-of-living measure Labor has tried to introduce. And then, just to make things even spicier, she took aim at Dutton's recent calls for a new referendum, suggesting that not even his own colleagues are backing him on it. Referendums cost money, and we certainly don't need the one in this thought bubble, she said. So there you have it. Labour says the Liberals are clinging to expensive policies that'll hurt Aussies in the long run, while the Liberals say Labour is throwing money at problems without actually fixing anything. Alright, so where does that leave us? Albo's claiming he's the defender of the PBS, but the coalition says that's total bull because they locked those protections in years ago. Labour says they are making healthcare more affordable, but the Libs argue bulk billing has actually collapsed under their watch. The upcoming budget is shaping up to be an absolute shocker, with the coalition warning about skyrocketing debt, while Labour insists they are handling it responsibly. And if that wasn't enough, the nuclear power debate is turning into an all-out political slugfest. At the end of the day, someone's got to be held accountable. Is Albo actually protecting the PBS, or is the coalition just desperate to take credit? Is Labour spending responsibly, or are they sending us broke? And what the hell is happening with nuclear power? Tell us what you reckon in the comments below. Who's got it right, and who's full of it? And if you've had enough of the political madness, don't forget to grab our exclusive Albo Says Relax t-shirt, only $23 for the next 48 hours. Links in the description. Make sure to hit like, subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next one.